Good evening, church family. Alex Wooten here for the Lily's Chapel Church of Christ, and we are so grateful to be here and be able to worship with you. We are continuing on in our Foundation series on Sunday nights, and this is week 4, and the title of this is The Church. We're in this together. This series has been the idea, and I worked on it to create this mindset of trying to build up a foundation here on earth to help us in the world. If you have a strong foundation, then you can hold yourself up, and your Christian family, your faith, anything like that, you're able to stand strong when things get rough. Today, the text that we're looking at primarily comes out of Acts chapter 2, verse 42 through 47, which is a very, very personal favorite of mine, but also Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 through 16. In the Old Testament, there was a command about the altar fire in the tabernacle. In Leviticus chapter 6, verse 13, it reads, "The fire must be kept burning on the altar continuously. It must not go out." You see, the flame here wasn't just symbolic, it was sacred. It represented the physical presence of God, the rhythm of worship, the heartbeat of Israel's faith. Now here's the thing. No one priest could keep it going alone. It took a community, people rotating shifts, carrying wood, tending flames, staying up through the night so that the fire of God's presence wouldn't go out. I grew up going to Camp Deer Run out in Winsboro, and during the 2-week sessions, we would have a thing called all-night prayer, and I really enjoyed that. And it would be kind of set on the backside of Hochie Ball Field, and there'd be a fire pit, and they would light the fire early on that afternoon and start it, and the people would rotate and go in. And every time you would get ready to leave, one of the counselors, usually the co-counselor from what my memory dictates, would put some more wood on the fire to carry it through to the next cabin, to keep the fire burning all night. You see, that's what the church is. It's not just a Sunday gathering. In fact, I'm not a fan of the idea of people saying, "I'm going to church." Church is not a place. Church is a presence, it's a people, it's a community, it's the group of people. The building around me is just that. It's a building. If something were to happen and it no longer had people worshiping in it, it could be used for anything. It could become a house. It could become a business. It is just wood and mortar and brick and wiring and carpet. The church is the people on the inside. Acapella vocal band had a song called "You Can't Go to Church." And the chorus was, "You can't go to church because the church is you." You see, the church is a sacred rhythm of God's people here on earth. A place where the fire of our faith is tended together. When your fire flickers, someone else fans it. When you stumble, someone steadies you. When you rejoice, they rejoice with you. You see, in Acts chapter 2, the early church wasn't just born, it burned, and it burned together. Acts chapter 2, verse 42 and 40 through 47, and out of the New International Version reads, "They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching," that would have been the gospel, "and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayer." That's the first portion. I need you to know the breaking of the bread is not the same as breaking bread. The breaking of bread in this phrasing is not the same as meeting together for the communion on Sunday. It was the idea of eating and being together, breaking bread, spending time together, and to prayer. All the believers were together and had everything in common, and the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. So the first point is the church is a body, not a building. I think we kind of covered that in the introduction. Somewhere along the way, the church became a location instead of a people. But in Acts chapter 2, there were no steeples, there were no sound systems, there were no signs. Just believers devoted to God while being devoted to one another. They didn't just sit in the pews, they broke bread in their homes. They didn't just attend a church service, they shared their lives together. They weren't just consumers of worship, they were contributors. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 27, Paul would later write that you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it. That means that you matter. Whether you are an encourager, whether you are a teacher, a listener, a doer, your role supports the health of the whole. So I need you to reflect for a moment and ask, do I see myself as a participant in church, or am I a guest on the outskirts? The second point is that understanding that the church is a body and not a building, then we need to realize that spiritual growth, number 2, spiritual growth happens in relationship. Ephesians chapter 4:16 says, "From Christ, the whole body grows and builds itself up in love as each part does work." God designed the church so that your spiritual growth would be connected to the others there. You don't mature in a vacuum. You grow when someone is speaking the truth in love, when someone walks with you through loss, when someone teaches, corrects, listens, and prays with you. But you also grow when you serve others and realize that faith isn't about you. Think about it. Even Jesus surrendered himself to the community. If the Son of God didn't walk alone, should we? If Jesus didn't walk alone and didn't avoid the community, should we? Who in your church family has helped shape your faith? And an even bigger question is, whose faith are you trying to help shape as well? And the third point is that devotion is what fuels the flame. Going back to Acts chapter 2:42, it says, they were devoted, not casually involved, not occasionally interested, devoted. The Greek word means to persist, to endure, to stick close. They were devoted to the teachings, what the apostles were teaching them. They were devoted to that. They were devoted to the fellowship and the breaking of bread with one another, being with one another outside of Sunday morning, being with one another in regular times, allowing themselves to be enraptured with the people. I don't know if enraptured is the right word, but also devoted in prayer for one another. Not one of these things can be done alone. Devotion is what keeps the fire from going out. It's not hype. It's not events. It's not trends. Devotion grows in the community. Why do you think God designed faith to be lived in a community? Well, honestly, it's easier to get distracted when you are alone or isolated. I mean, there have been scientific studies done on this. There have been some pretty inhumane ones done on this well, where they allowed children to grow up with the bare minimum of human contact, just to see what happens. When you know what happens, the child doesn't grow. They may grow physically because they're eating the food, but mentally, mature levels, the things that we take for granted of knowing as we're growing, they don't get, because they don't have that. And if you're a Christian and suddenly you're a Christian and you're by yourself, how can you be expected to grow in your faith if you are not actively living it? And I know you're sitting there, Alex, what does being devoted to our church look like in real life? It means showing up when you're tired, not just to worship, not just the Bible class. It means helping carry someone else's burden. praying with people, not just for them. And so I would say, go out and check on somebody you haven't seen in a while. Invite someone over for dinner or coffee. Serve quietly, clean, prepare, encourage, or pray. I challenge you to intentionally strengthen the body of the church this week via encouragement, sending messages to someone, attending something midweek, not just to consume, but to connect. Invite someone new to sit with you, or invite someone new here to church. Ask somebody how you can pray for them, and do it then. A challenge I gave myself a few years ago, I was driving from Big Spring up to Lubbock for a doctor's appointment, and I posted on Facebook, how can I pray for you today? Send me a comment or messages. And every notification I got, as soon as I got it, it would read it out loud while I was driving, and I would instantly, in that spot, pray for that need. Pray for that prayer to be answered. You see, the early church didn't burn because they had programs. They burned because they had each other. They prayed, they ate, they taught, they shared, they suffered, they rejoiced, and they grew together. If we want to be a church that lasts, then part of our foundation has to be a faith that won't flicker in the wind. And we need to tend the fire together. So ask yourselves, what are you bringing to the flame? For the Lilies Chapel Church of Christ, I'm Alex Wooten. God bless.